When we consider all the commands given to man in the scriptures, we must emphasize those 10 commandments that were given to Moses as a basis of God's law. Good morning, I'm Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Monday. When Moses was leading that exodus out of Egypt and into a promised land, God wanted them to learn to live by his rules and not the Egyptian standards that they had been put up to for so many years. So he spelled out the 10 commandments. He even wrote them on tablets of stone for Moses to present to the people. And in Deuteronomy chapter 20 and verse 2, he said, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. This may sound simple to us today, but these Israelites had lived in the land of Egypt, who had a different God they worshiped for everything in life. God wanted to distinguish himself as unique among all the other gods of this world. He is often described in the Old Testament as the true and living God, as all others were idols. They were conceived and formed by the mind of man and by his own hands. In Deuteronomy chapter 6, he taught the Shema, which was to be repeated in every home. It said, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. So it is important that we realize that all the other religions of the world are actually false. They are made up by the ideas of man, whereas our God is sovereign in the universe and eternal. Notice how he began by saying, I am the Lord your God. The Lord here meaning sovereign over our lives. Certainly the concept of God cannot be disputed. He also reminded them of his care for his people. I am the one who brought you out of the land of Egypt. This cannot be missed by his people. He displayed his care for his chosen people, and he showed his power over that great army of Pharaoh and the Egyptians when he brought them out. It is amazing that these people needed to be reminded that they were just rescued from what God calls the house of bondage, because in a very short time, they will be longing for the melons and the leeks and all those provisions they had in Egypt. They'll forget the fact that they were slaves there, that they were under bondage and mistreated by the Egyptian people. We must never forget today where God found us and where he has brought us to in this life. He says here, you shall have no other gods before me. Such a silly suggestion it seems, except for the fact that very shortly these people would fashion a golden calf out of their jewelry and bow down to worship it. Sounds ludicrous, doesn't it? Are there things in our life today that take the place of God? Oh, for some it might be riches. For others it might be their family or their children. For some it may be their job or their career. Some sort of possession that they have that really possesses them. While we might be quick to say today, I have no other gods, let's examine our hearts and make sure that the Lord is our God and we have no other God before him.